Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Purple Phases. Here we talk about the different phases and stages that us as Black women go through. I'm your host, Jada Weber, an actress, model, poet, as well as a playwright. I am also a 22-year-old Black woman creating a safe space for other Black women to feel seen and heard, and to also have innovative and liberating dialogue with one another. And on today's episode, we will be discussing Black women and mental health. I will be discussing this topic with one of my amazing special guests by the name of Aliesa. Hello, beautiful.
Hey, how you doing?
Good. How are you today?
I'm doing good.
That's good.
Doing well.
That's great. Thank you so much for joining me today to have this, important conversation for Black women and mental health. I'm honored.
Aw, girl.
I really wanted you to be here and a part of this, so it really means a lot to me. Before we start, I definitely want to start off by asking you and definitely doing a mental health check-in of how are you mentally?
Okay, I just wanted to say first of all, thank you so much for the invite.
You're welcome.
I greatly appreciate it.
You are so welcome.
Just to hop right in there, how is my mental health right now?
How are you mentally?
I'm doing pretty well.
That's good.
I'm not perfect. I'm human.
Hello.
I have my good and bad moments.
Me too.
But I never just stay stuck there.
I know that's right.
I've really found a way to after 30 years push through it. So
that's amazing. I love that for you. Oh, that's great. I feel like I'm doing better than what I was. Okay. I'm still doing a lot of healing myself personally. Mm-hmm. Like you said earlier, I'm not perfect, but at the same time, I feel like, this morning, y'all, I woke up feeling great, feeling good. It's the first of the month of October. Shout out to Libra season, period. Big Libra. Our birthday's coming up. Mine's the 7th. When yours?
18th.
Period. Yep. Big Libra.
Big Libra energy. Okay.
But I just feel like I really wanted to have this conversation around Black women mental health because it's a very important and needed conversation. Mm-hmm. Really just talk about the different experiences and from our perspectives of the different challenges and adversities that we go through with our mental health. But I also want to talk about some solutions and also looking up some research and statistics of it, overall. So I would just feel like, there's a needed conversation to have. I want to first start off by asking you, what are your thoughts and perspectives on Black women and mental health?
So my thoughts and perspectives on Black women and mental health would be, I think that everybody, it's a very broad topic.
Yes.
And I mean, you could break it down into a lot of different categories, but I'll just start first, as just being a Black woman, in today's society.
Yes.
And, just trying to, just survive and just, trying to just strive, in a world where, honestly, we're always, put down.
I agree.
Yes. The statistics is so high, and people essaying, unaliving,
absolutely,
Black women.
Yes.
So we're the highest rate of
femicide. Femicide.
So just even with that, so just starting there, right. It's important for us to make sure we have somebody that we could check in with, or check in with ourselves to see how we're feeling and where our mental state is.
I agree.
Every day,
absolutely.
And to just try to find ways to, look up ways, try to find ways, go see a therapist.
Yep.
Everybody heals differently. So, just find ways for, find ways to heal yourself. Right. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
Yeah,
exactly.
In many different, forms and methods, but in general, to bring it back home.
Right.
Black women mental health is serious.
It is. It really is.
We've come from, generations of trauma, right. and just so much. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
So I think it should just start there, by just trying to, heal yourself. By healing yourself, you're helping heal other women. People. Yep.
Right, exactly. And I also agree with everything that you stated. the topic as far as like Black women and mental health is such an important one because a lot of times it doesn't get addressed. I feel like we are currently having more, help within our communities and stuff like that, and even outside forces. But, for a long time, it's just gone ignored. Different things in our stories haven't really been told and stuff like that. So Black women and mental health is a needed thing. That's a forever thing as long as we are living, first of all, as Black women. So I agree with everything you said.
Thank you.
I'm like, yes. I'm like, what am I going to say? Like, what?
So funny.
You welcome. I wanted to say too, though, I really want to get into like my experience as a Black woman in mental health, and also ask you, but I'm gonna start first. Okay. So my experience as far as Black women, me as a Black woman, in mental health, I was introduced to mental health within my household because growing up, my mom, she had bipolar disorder, and she basically opened up to me about it when I was in my sophomore year of high school. So it was just a lot of things I was learning and didn't understand and stuff like that. But at the same time, I was just like, I feel like, now that I'm aware of it now, sorry,
it's okay.
Sorry, I was overthinking as I was talking to y'all. What was I saying? Oh yeah, Black women mental health, my experience. So for me personally, growing up, it is a sensitive topic for me because my mom, she had bipolar disorder, and it was just certain things I didn't understand as far as like her behavior and stuff like that. And it was just a lot for me to process. She did open up to me and tell me like, yeah, I'm diagnosed with bipolar disorder, but I didn't know nothing about it. I knew her behavior had different changes and stuff like that, but it was nobody within my household or even other people in my school or nothing who was telling me about mental health and specifically the different things that I would probably experience with my own mental health. So it was just a lot with that whole situation. But other than that though, I took it upon myself to study and learn more about it because when my mom opened up to me about it, she kind of stigmatized it in a sense, like she looked at it as a negative way instead of like probably really getting the proper help that she needed. So for me, I looked at it like, you know what? Let me see if I have any type of symptoms of mental health. And then that's how, for me, my mental health journey began. It's always something that I personally prioritize, but it definitely was a very, I think it was a lot of shame, if I'm being honest, with my experience of becoming aware of mental health for me, because I just felt like I never really had a space to really talk about it in a safe way. And also in a way to where it was intentional, to where I was educated on it, if that makes any sense.
It does.
But what about you? So wow. I think too, like I kind of paused when I was talking about my mom because it is a sensitive subject. You know what I'm saying? It's a very vulnerable.
Yeah. I pretty much picked up on that energy though. It's okay.
Thank you. I appreciate
it. Honestly, I started, I've always known about mental health, you know what I'm saying? Like all my life. However, I really didn't start like really acknowledging it really until like my 30s.
Wow.
Just looking back on a lot of, mistakes and a lot of, situations that, I've got myself into.
Okay.
Like, why did you do that? Like, like, you know what I'm saying? Like that must have stemmed from, something that you went through, when you were younger, you know what I'm saying? Or just, in general. So, I really started getting into the healing side of mental health.
Yes.
I've never seen a therapist, but I've done a lot of different healing practices.
Me too. We don't get into that.
Yeah, along the way. And, a lot of them are very beneficial, what I'm saying, to my heart and to my soul, And,
me too.
Just, man, like, even, like, just the change in your diet, you know what I'm saying? Just changing your daily habits, that's a form of healing, just taking a couple minutes throughout the day and meditating, that's healing. I know.
And I've been working on that.
Yeah, me too, because I'm not no professional. I don't do it every single day.
And I feel like I think for me, I mentally feel like and be sometimes thinking like I have to literally be so focused that I overthink my way out of like the peaceful and the essence, I feel like, of really meditating. Because for me, meditation don't have a specific definition. It's just like you either doing it or you not. It feels right or it don't. So yeah, I can relate to that a lot.
You know what I'm saying? So just a lot of mistakes that I've made in my younger, in my 20s, just led me to.
And I'm 22.
Yeah.
Like, girl, give me advice, please.
I want to tell how old I am, but I'm in my 30s, and just things that I've gone through. Just, honestly, it's like But in a weird way, you know, I kind of feel like those are life lessons, because without the things that happen, it wouldn't lead you to, you know, healing, or lead you to just like self-awareness and all that.
Yeah, self-awareness. So, and also, like, you know, identifying just certain traits of your mental. You know, I think for me, if I'm being honest with you, growing up, mental health was something, due to it not really being talked about, but also stigmatized and demonized, just looked at as a negative way and all that. I just viewed it as like, I didn't really understand it. You know what I'm trying to say? So for me, any type of signs of me having mental health issues, I feel like I always had this issue of viewing it in a very extreme way. Do that make any sense?
Yeah, because, like, you know, well, back in the day, like, you know, in the Black community, like trying to see a therapist or trying to get healing or any of that, that was looked at as like a negative thing, like you said, like a bad thing.
Right.
So, you know, times are so different now than they were. You know what I'm saying? For like, I know it's like a major age difference between you and I, but like, no, for real, because like times are different from when I was in my 20s. Okay. You know what I'm saying? Versus like now, like it's so different, and like healing and trying to, you know, heal yourself from within. You know, it's kind of trendy, but that's good. You know what I'm saying? Whatever, you know, whatever it takes.
And this shit is not no trend.
You know what I'm saying?
This is real life work, and this is real. Intentional. Like, I realized, like, with my mental health, you have to be intentional. Like, this is not for the games, for what it's gonna look like, for you looking like the good. It's like, no, just be intentional and present and loving yourself.
I look at it like this, though. However you get there, even if you're trying to fit in, you're gonna find your healing somewhere in there. The universe is not gonna play with you.
Exactly.
Like,
period. I agree with that. I believe that what you put out, you get back. I say this all the time. You know, so, and I feel like if your intentions is in the right place, you ain't got nothing to worry about, because everything else is going, like you said, everybody true color is going to show regardless. Whether it was lies you was telling yourself, certain things you didn't want to see or avoid, or other people around you. Girl, that's like the story of my damn life.
Man, that's a whole nother
like,
thing.
What?
Like, for me, it's just not letting people just agitate me and controlling my anger. You know what I'm saying? And it's like, the more you tell the universe or tell God, like, you know, I'm a go without being irritated with nobody for 30 days. I'm not going to be mean to nobody. I'm not going to get mad.
Yeah.
Here come God or the universe, like, oh, okay. This how you want to, you know what I'm saying? I'm
like that test. You. Some people say,
I'm about
like
to hit you with all of this to see, you know, how you're going to, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
how you're going to react.
If you're going to fulfill the promise that you made to yourself, in the sense of your, you know, mental health, and not reacting and allowing somebody to have the power over you, in the sense, like you said earlier, with the anger thing. I get exactly what you said.
And that's my goal. Like that's happened. I'm striving for that right now. Like,
I love that for you.
And I can tell so well, like, for real.
See, the listeners, they don't know you. Like, y'all don't know her like that. But let me just say this. She is a wonderful person inside and out, through and through. And I say it like that because, you know how some people do things and they're not self-aware and they just don't give a fuck.
Right.
You know, let's just keep real. Some people, I can tell you are intentional, like you're genuine. You know what I'm saying? And I'll always pick that up on you from me. I'm like,
you too.
I gotta keep her in my corner. Like, she's a real one. Aww. And I just love how intentional you are about yourself, but also others. You know what I'm saying? I feel like, me personally, again, I ain't trying to make it a zodiac thing, but as a Libra, I do feel like, as a Libra myself, I have put other people before myself, and that has affected my mental health. You know, for example, I was talking about this previously on different episodes of my podcast. Like, sometimes I would expect people to show up in ways that I wasn't even showing up for myself.
Right.
Because I'm so prioritizing other people and all those type of things. And that's also like, how do I explain this? I feel like recently I went through a process of like an ego death, because I used to tell myself like, oh yeah, I'm a good person because I'm doing this for others. I'm doing this for that. But it's like, I'm not showing up for myself in certain ways. You know what I'm saying? So it's kind of like, I used to have certain expectations for other people that I didn't even always fulfill within myself. But a lot of that I ended up realizing even through therapy. Identifying certain shit like that and stuff like that. So, girl, that's a lot. But
and then, like, you know what I'm saying? Name a few. But you're right. Like, we have a lot of similarities in that. Like, you know what I'm saying? And just coming to the realization that don't nobody really owe you nothing. You know what I mean?
That's true.
Like, what you do out of and I mean, people should, you know, the right thing for people to do would be to reciprocate, like, you know, good energy.
I'm so big on reciprocation. Yes,
because we Libras and we care about justice.
And I want other people to be like, how I do. Yeah, fairness. There we
balance.
Go. Yes.
So you know what I'm saying?
For real
it's
though.
Like, it's just the ultimate. But to be honest, everybody aren't like us. Like,
right.
You know, and people are so just. I won't say they're rude. I won't say nothing negative, but people have their own ways.
Right.
And
for
you
sure.
know what I'm saying? Like, everybody is not like us. That doesn't mean you should accept bad behavior.
Right, the bullshit.
Don't ever do that, because don't get it twisted.
Yeah.
Libra's not gonna play with you. You know what I'm saying? We're not like
literally. We're gonna hold you accountable. Like that's just what it is. Like
time.
We're gonna support you, but we're gonna hold you accountable.
Wrong is wrong. You know, and
right is right.
Period. Like so, you know what I'm saying?
Yes.
I don't even know where I was going with that, but you know what I'm saying. Though.
I feel like this is another thing too. Is like it's important. I feel like for us as Black women specifically, because we have our own unique experiences of being Black women. Period.
Yeah.
But Black women, as far as our mental health, I feel like it's also important to be aware of people who are bringing your mental health down.
Yeah.
That's another thing I kind of want to segue into, like really talking about. Like for you, is there any advice that you have like for other Black women as far as like being aware of other people who are not serving you in your mental health? Like any signs of like maybe friends? For me, it was even family, but we ain't gonna go there.
Yeah.
Like, because girl got stories for days.
Some things, like I said, you should never tolerate disrespect and abuse or whatever, or unfair treatment from people. But like your family and people that you live with and your loved ones, they're going to they're part of the test. You know what I'm saying?
That's true.
So you really have to control your temper and control your anger, control your tone, control the way, you know, you may be treating people. You may not be aware, you know what I'm saying, of how you're treating people. But, you know, just from people, you know, that you deal with on a day-to-day basis that are in your life, like your family, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You know, you just have to always, you know, love them and treat them with, because everybody is going through their own battles, you know what I'm saying?
Yes.
But to the people that just blatantly disrespect or whatever, you know what I'm saying? Like, no.
Period.
No.
I agree.
But other than that, though, you know what I'm saying? You can handle, you know, life gonna throw you so many different curves, you know, but it's how you like maneuver through that shit, for real.
No, for real. Girl, it's like everything you said is just hit me. Girl, like, woo, I'm processing it, but preach. Yes. Like, couldn't agree with you anymore. I want to go over, you know, just some of the overall symptoms of mental health in general. So some symptoms of mental health is depression, anxiety, bipolar disorder, autism, PTSD, and also OCD, better known as obsessive compulsive disorder. Now let's get into the facts and some of the studies that I was speaking of previously. So some facts about Black women and mental health is, you know, there was a study at NYU that says that depression looks differently in Black women, and some symptoms that we exhibit but may not show up for even other races of people are things such as fatigue, insomnia, decreased libido, meaning low sex drive, and also or sexual desire, self-blame, self-hate. So not only are us as Black women suffering from depression, but we also have self-imposed and internalized blaming going on.
And I think everybody, like, there's not one person,
not
one woman, Black woman that I know that hasn't gone through every single one of those.
Right, due to like a lot of the trauma. And when I was reading up on these facts, I was like, damn, like so many of these signs and symptoms I've, you know, experienced myself and sometimes still struggle with. So that was really important and interesting when I was thinking about how it also relates to my life. Do you relate to any of those symptoms? Yeah, girl, I'm like, look, like, and then I started thinking about some of the factors of why that is. So some other things too that had came up too was like they was talking about how being angry as Black women, due to the things that we go through and the traumas and stuff like that, we get angry at ourselves for simply even experiencing the depression. So they did tests and, you know, asking other Black women, like, you know, why that is. These are some of their responses. And I'm like, damn, like I've done that to myself too, because a lot of Black women will say this. I'm not the first one, but we talk about how we feel like we got to be the strongest. And I don't know, superwoman, just all those type of things, but also feeling like not appreciated and different stuff like that. And then on top of that, us not properly literally getting the help that we need for like our mental health, like literally our well-being. So what ends up happening is, due to all these demands and expectations outside of ourselves as Black women, we're also getting irritated at ourselves, because we due to other people saying like, oh yeah, you got to be this and you that, we internalize like, basically we damn near feel like we got to be perfect.
Right. Yeah.
It's just like, it's literally crazy. So so all of that ends up happening the way we experience it. Studies also reported that depression for Black women can show up as irritability, so agitation. Me personally, I can speak for myself. Growing up, I'm gonna say this, as a young Black woman coming up, the other Black women in my family, I just didn't understand everything. You know what I'm saying? But what I did know was, it was certain things and clearly outside forces that they definitely was agitated, irritated. That saying, when, if your mom irritated, the whole house gonna be irritated. And that's a lot of the experiences that I felt and I experienced too. Growing up with a single Black mom, it was a lot of challenges that she experienced that I didn't realize a lot of stuff back then, even when she was talking about. But clearly, as I got older, I was like, damn, like, it's a lot of shit going on. You know what I'm saying? She experiencing microaggressions, things going on with her love life. Then she got childhood trauma. It's just a lot. Then she also raising children. So when I started processing all that, me personally, y'all, I ain't got no kids. It's just a lot of shit. So I'm just like, damn, like, I can only imagine like what that's like. You know what I'm saying? So what was that like for you personally, like, the Black women in your life? Do you feel like they experienced any type of mental or underlying mental health issues that they just wasn't, like aware about, or they was aware about? They talked about it?
Yeah, I don't think so, but I know that my mother did have a really she had a really rough childhood.
Okay.
You know what I'm
saying? My mom did too. She told me that.
You gotta understand, like, even when our mothers, had us, they were young. You know what I'm saying? And people are just trying to. Well, not young, too. But
my mom was a teen mom.
And well, not a teen mom, but my mom was still young. You know?
She was young.
Like in your 20s, that's still young to me. You know what I mean?
Yes,
so,
it is.
That's hard.
It is.
On your own. And not having a really strong support system or support team.
Yes,
that's very difficult. But the irritability, even I'm a mother, now. And even like just seeing like a lot of traits like in my child, you know what I'm saying? Like, wow, like,
that's what my mom used to say.
You really, girl, that's like another you know what I'm saying?
That's what she used to say too.
And that's been another,
eye opener.
Exactly, for my healing journey,
that's
so
good.
that I can do what I need to do for myself, so I can show up for my daughter, so we can break the generational curse.
Heavy on the breaking generational curses. Like, no, and that's another reason why I prioritize my mental health so much, because it's like, I never want to be the hurt person who hurt me. Because one thing that I'll be realizing too, on some spiritual shit, on some deep shit, is like, people who go out their way to give other people a hard time, or just evil, you could say, and stuff like that, they definitely have internalized demons and just clearly a lot of shit going on that was never addressed, not loved properly, not even some people just not even in a space to receive love. But again, I feel like everybody has their own free will. I say this all the time. It's a lot of people who have experienced both genders, both male and female, certain traumas and stuff like that, but we didn't all react the same. Some person trauma might want to kill somebody due to certain things they've been through. The other person, they just hurt, they just cry. So it's just like, it's a lot with that. And that definitely ties into what you were saying earlier of like, everybody process their mental health and literally their own spiritual journey differently, for sure. So I can agree with that.
Yeah, me too. And I don't feel like one person's is better than the others.
Me neither.
You know what I'm
saying?
Never
felt like that.
Yep, I don't think one religion is better than the other. You
Me
know
neither.
What I'm saying? Like, it's always just a higher purpose. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
That's just to honestly spread love. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
And awareness and helping people. For real, that's really it.
Exactly. You never know what somebody else is going through. And then like by you living in your truth, like I'll always be saying, like, I've experienced it. That's certain things I'll be saying, y'all too. I've literally like lived this shit. So like it's like I realize like the more and more I'm in tune with my body, my spirit, my soul, and loving on myself, I notice how even other people around me feel good.
Yes.
I notice how other people around me feel even more open to tell me certain shit they've been honed in for years. It's just when you go through certain, what's the word I'm looking for? Testimonies like that. That's
you
why.
Be an example.
You be
right. You be an example for other women and other young girls.
Yes. Especially little Black girls. I feel like that's why I'm educating myself now, because coming up as a little Black girl, it was just so many conversations I wish I had, around just like mental health, because certain shit just could have been avoided. I'm keep real, that's just the truth. And I just be feeling like, I don't have a daughter or any children, but like if I ever do have a child, or yet alone a little Black girl, it's like I want to be able to have those important but safe conversations. Like it's so important, y'all.
Yeah, it really is. It really is.
Like just do the work. Like research as much as you can with mental health, period.
Yep.
And it's just in general too, if specifically as Black women, it's just certain things. Again, this is a constant thing. This ain't I want to make it very clear, like this is not like no linear, like, oh yeah, just like meditate every morning, you're good. Like no, it's going to be different things that you wasn't even prepared for with shit. And it's important to have a great support system. That's one. And also community. I'm so big on community. Like I'm really big on that, because I feel like it's certain challenges with your mental health you shouldn't go through alone. You know what I'm saying? I wouldn't wish that on nobody. And if you are going through it alone, try to find other like-minded people who have your same experience, and also on top of that, to where you can build community.
Right.
I know I said a mouthful.
No, like you're right.
But
like
I just feel like that really need to be said, because I feel like I be noticing a lot of what I notice is, and I'll talk to other Black women, they feel very lonely. Let me say this. I feel like I be in my head sometimes, as far as like even with my own mental, but that's why you got to step outside of yourself and talk to other like-minded individuals, because some of those stories is literally all intertwined and connected. And you think you're the only person going through some shit. And it's like, no, girl.
Exactly.
Everybody is literally going through something. Her mom just died. Her dad. You just never know what other people got going on. And I can relate to that so much. So
yeah, you just never know. You never know what people got going on.
Exactly.
That's why I try to teach. I'm not saying be a pushover, but I be trying to like just talk about treating people with kindness. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
Because it is a lot of like mean girl energy like within our community. Like
Agreed.
You know what I'm saying?
Agreed.
Or people that pretend like, oh, they're such nice women, they want to, you know what I'm saying? They're all for girl empowerment, but
that's a whole nother conversation.
Saying? It's a whole nother situation, but like it just be a lot, because just being just like a bright person or a bright young lady, Black young lady in the Black community, it a lot of times you're frowned upon. You know what I'm saying?
Because it agitates other people's spirit. That is so true, especially when you're an empath. See, the thing about being an empath too, you feel that shit. Like for me personally, it's
I've been working on methods to block that, because
but I feel like I used to say stuff like that too, like block it, but I feel like sometimes God be showing me like, maybe you shouldn't block it, Jada. Like maybe you should just be aware of what's going on, peep it. And also, because let me say this, I must say I used to struggle in the past with just addressing just things that made me feel uncomfortable, or what else? Confrontation. That's what I'm trying to say.
I think it's a Libra thing. I swear.
No, but look, and I didn't even gonna say that, but it's just like I had to really learn though. Like, no, girl, like you gotta really like hold people accountable. Like when somebody make you uncomfortable, definitely say it in that moment, because it's important. Like that goes back to, like, let me say this, what I learned about even my mental health journey and my self-love journey, that's a form of self-love, like holding people accountable. You can't just let anybody treat you in this type of way. And I used to hear that, growing up, but then when you actually experience it from people who you thought was close to you or who would never do it, that's when shit really get real. And you're like, yep, this your test.
Yep, because people will run over you. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, for sure.
If you don't set boundaries.
Heavy on the boundaries.
You know what I'm saying? And standing up for yourself, for real.
Exactly. And I feel like, too, like, if you open up to somebody about your mental health issues, especially, too, and they're still crossing, like, those boundaries, those things that's making you feel uncomfortable, that's a red flag, y'all.
Right.
That's like a, girl, we're done.
Yeah.
Or guy, we're whoever.
Right.
I also want to say, too, like, as far as Black women and mental health, once again, it shows up differently than other races. It also said that, like, it shows up as, a shutting down, which something I've been realizing within myself, I've had the tendency of doing. I'm currently in therapy. I'm still learning and unlearning, but I was like, wow. I'm like, okay, shut up. I be doing that sometime. Do you ever like find yourself like when you are anxious or just any of the symptoms that I went over previously? Let me know if you want me to go back over it. To where you just like shut down.
Yeah, every now and then.
Yeah, I'll be shut down. Not all the time.
Not all the time.
I do it when I need to.
Every now and then. But that's why, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, physical health and, like, you know, diet and all of that is important because even, like, just dealing with certain health issues that women have, you know, like dealing with PMS and, you know, for me, once a month, I just be like, in a way, like for real, I just be like, oh my God.
I try to drink a lot of water.
You know, I try, but it's something with the, you know, with the hormones or whatever. You know,
that's true.
A lot of people say like, oh, you can't use that as an excuse, but it's really a thing. Like, it's really a thing.
And sometimes, you know, of course, we got hormonal imbalances too. Yeah, and then so you try to learn about the shit. You still learning your body.
That's why it's important to know about, you know, different herbs, different
burdock root. Always shout out.
Yes, period.
And what's that other tea called? Chamomile? Chamomile tea, right? I think it's called chamomile.
What's that?
You don't know what that tea is?
I have a whole bunch of them at home, and I don't know
I'm gonna keep it all the way real.
What?
I don't know the exact
That's okay. I probably do though.
I like the way it makes me feel. It makes you feel relaxed. It is good for you. Mm-hmm. I do try to. One thing recently though, I've been trying to drink I'm really into teas in general, but caffeine-free teas.
Yeah,
that's my shit.
Yeah. Are you like a loose?
I got ADHD. I thought you was gonna say what I'm diagnosed with. I got ADHD, so
that's okay.
I'm like the caffeine. I be on 10.
I think a lot of us do and just aren't aware of it.
Yeah, no, for sure. Because some people haven't, well, specifically, you know, we speaking of Black women, like they haven't been tested for certain things.
A lot of people,
and that's something I be having to be mindful of. Like, not everybody, and also too, as far as like economically, they don't have the privilege, I should say that, or the resources to properly healthcare too. Yep. So, and that ties right into
it sure does.
Get into.
Oh, I'm like, it sure does. I thought you was gonna say that tie right into like.
I just want to say too, like how we were saying earlier, like as far as the symptoms and stuff and different ways it shows up for us as Black women, it's not that we have like bad attitudes or, you know, stuff like that, or that we sassy, like a lot of stereotypes that, you know, they label us as Black women that a lot of us can relate to as Black women. Mm-hmm. But it's just that like we have anxiety, you know, and some of the different, you know, symptoms that I said as far as our like mental health. Mm-hmm. And also we just don't know how to always process it.
Right.
And remind you, we got to be mindful of how like it's a lot of Black women who don't come from like a space to where they're educated on it.
Yeah.
So it's just like they just feel like they got to just know it all.
Right.
I got a whole list of plenty of Black women, and myself included. Like sometimes I still struggle with this. That's the only reason why I'm saying it like that. Like as a Black woman, I do be feeling like, you know what, I gotta have my shit together because I'm gonna have to figure it out before somebody else have to. You know, maybe they figure me out. It's that tit for tat thing. Like always feeling like you in a, I guess like
or
fight
or
flight.
Or you feel like
you
feel like you put a lot of pressure on yourself. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know,
survival mode.
Yeah, you know, you feel like you put. For me, what's been really helping me with, you know, my healing journey is just, you know, taking my time, not feeling like I'm pressured to, you know, and I'm an artist, you know, and I like to create. I love to, you know,
speaking of that, let's get into your catalog.
I love to perform, you know, I like to, you know, just that's my art, you know, but just not feeling like I just have to just rush and like put something out, you know what I'm saying? Not feeling like, you know, I've just taken my time, you know, and putting things out at my pace and when I want to, when I feel like the world is ready to hear my message, you know what I'm saying? That causes a lot of anxiety when you try to compete with people, or you know what I'm saying? Or you're trying to,
for
sure, do all that. And I just feel like once you
that's true,
let all that go, that's when like your best work comes out. So
I agree. My best work comes out when I ain't focused on nobody but myself.
Period.
Like you ever know when you
get like a copy of this?
What? The recording?
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Okay, I need to take some clips, girl.
Yeah, I got you. I actually wanted to make sure you had a chance to introduce yourself to the listeners about who you are and what you do.
Okay.
Because you wear a lot of hats. Okay.
Yeah.
My listeners wear a lot of hats. Let's get into it.
Okay. Well, the only one I'm gonna talk about today is I am my name is Aliesa Nicole, and I am an singer and slash writer.
Yes.
I used to do print modeling, and I'm also an actress. And I'm just getting into my writing bag.
That's what's
so
up.
I've just been working really hard on just creating like a sound for myself, and just getting in my zone of what I want to put out. So I got some new music coming out very soon.
Yay.
So be on the lookout for that. And that's pretty much it for now. Okay. I'm pretty sure you might have me back on here if you have like an artist segment or something.
And I was gonna say that at the end. You done messed it up.
My bad. See, I'm always jumping ahead. Like, that's funny, but
wait.
But yeah, I love music, and I just feel like I want to put out my message that I want to share with the world, and my healing journey, and just things that I've gone through in my lyrics. Yes. So I'm excited, I'm excited for me.
I love that for you. I'm excited for you too, and all the blessings. I wish you nothing but the best, and blessings and abundance, all that good stuff, and good mental health.
Yes, period.
I want to actually ask you now that I think about it, like, how does your purpose, your God-given talents ties into like the role it's played in helping, really your mental health? Like, like some people who know how to sing or do good things or whatever the case is, it's like they be like, girl, dancing saved my life.
Yes.
Like, has it like really, I guess, helped you in your mental health journey?
Yes, it has.
That's good.
Because all my life, like, I always felt like I said, like I needed to be in competition, or I need to try to just, it's always been a lot of stress and a lot of pressure, trying to make it to a certain level, like in the music industry,
right?
But now that I'm a little older, you know what I'm saying? Like, I just feel like it's no. What was your original question, girl? Because like I've just been
basically
off into
no, you good. I was just asking, like, as far as like your purpose, like when you was explaining what it is.
Oh,
you do,
yes.
How that tied into like your mental health.
It did help me with my mental health because every day, for me, writing is is becoming healing for me. I'm finding the fun in creating, and trying to find the right words to say, what I'm saying, and how to format the song. So
and tell your story.
Yeah, and tell my story. So just the whole process,
That's what's up. Yeah. Okay. How long have you been, well, I don't want to say writing, but really just singing or performing, I should say? Like, when did you start performing?
I've been performing all my life, actually, since like 4 years old, like since K4, doing shows at school. At school. So I've always loved it. You know what I'm saying?
That's what's up.
But now, all my life I've felt like, I don't know, just feel like I have to impress somebody. But now I'm more of on like a mission. You know what I'm saying? I don't care what others think. You know what I mean?
Yes. So. No, that's right. I know that's right. That's wonderful. That's interesting. I can relate to that in a lot of ways too. Like I stated earlier, acting, modeling, writing, all those things was ways of me just simply express myself.
Yeah.
I just felt like since I was little, as I talked about on my previous episode, Black women, what it means to be weird. Like, I just always felt like people tried to put me in a box, like, oh, you should be like this because of this. Or if you want today, you can only do this. And it's just like, girl, I'm gonna rock my moon boots and do what I want. You know what I'm saying? One side is this color, and that's just what it's gonna be like. And I always did shit like that, like since I was like little, like literally just expressing myself. But I think it definitely was certain things I had to navigate about, like, okay, am I doing this for me, or am I doing this to make other people feel uncomfortable? That's definitely something that I always used to struggle with, and sometimes still struggle with, because I was raised, and I realized this in therapy, y'all, mental health, hello, that like, I was raised to be a people pleaser. Girl, it was hard. When I knew that.
I think a lot of us.
I knew that. But girl, when I started unpacking that, I'm like, damn, like I really had to realign myself again, starting all the way over friends. Cause not certain film, like the whole shebang. Especially too, because it's like, and I'm gonna say this, me personally, I want to speak for myself in the sense of like, when you have other people around you sometimes who just don't understand or not willing to even understand like mental health, that could really fuck you up if you got mental health issues. Because if they're not aware of it or even care to be aware of it, when you do probably, you know, show those signs or just really need that help or support, shit, they ain't gonna be there in the ways that you need them to be there. So I just feel like that's why it's so important to also have other people around you who take mental health seriously, period. You know?
So, well, because like y'all not in alignment, you know what I'm saying? So like,
right,
you know, once you trying to, you know, heal yourself with, you know, once you're trying to heal yourself mentally, you know, you'll start being in alignment with other people that are, you know, doing the same.
Facts. That's so true. Also, how you just brought that point up, that's so true, because I feel like when I take my mental health serious, I get in alignment with other people who take it just as serious.
Yep.
I guess it ties right back to self.
Yep, it does. It really does.
But then it's just like, I don't know, I always feel like certain things is inedible. So I say stuff like, oh, you plant one seed for a multitude of things. That was like a saying I used to say, but like, it's really the truth. You know, even a tree, you got to start somewhere, you know. So
yep, that's true.
That's what it was all about. And I just feel like too, like, you know, I feel like personally I'm realizing, like I said earlier, it's just a lot of shame that was attached to me, to my anxiety and my own experiences. I definitely realized that, and I still be realizing that sometimes. Even like right now, like sometimes I still struggle with like being emotionally available for myself and stuff like that. You know, growing up, I definitely wasn't raised around like the most empathetic girl. Like, I don't know, I feel like me personally, I always felt more comfortable, I guess, opening up in an emotional way as far as my emotions with like my friends. Like that was kind of like, I mean, I used to cry like when I was little, but then when I got older and stuff, girl, my mom was like, girl, talk to Kiki, like, but then I realized too, like, certain ways it's not like she wasn't trying to intentionally not be there for me mentally. It's just she literally didn't have that space and capacity for herself.
Same. Or not even that, you know what I'm saying? Just like, you know, single moms, you know, they are so busy, you know what I'm saying? And how can they have the space for you when, you know, they have a lot of healing to do themselves? You know what I mean? So it's like, you know.
That's so true. And I don't know what that's like. You know, I don't know what it's like to be a single, you know, Black woman at that with a little Black girl to raise. Like, it's a lot when you trying to, I feel like one of the things I'm realizing now, which I feel like I always was aware of it, but the older I got, really growing to understanding it, like a lot of Black women who are single mothers, it's like, it's a lot of challenges that can come with that in general if you have children or just even one child. Because as you trying to see yourself, the days that you don't see yourself, but then you seeing literally a child you gave birth to, I don't know, for me mentally, just talking about it, I just feel exhausted. Like I'm confused. So a lot of ways it be showing up, and I'll be realizing, like, you know, it actually brought in my perspectives of really giving other Black women grace in a lot of ways. Not excuses though for bad behavior. Want to make that clear.
Right.
But like as far as other things that they was just unaware about, especially like not intentionally doing, I can definitely show grace, because I would want somebody to show grace for me.
Yep, me too. And people have, so.
Yeah. Do you feel like your experience as a single mom, like you said earlier, like what was that like for you, you know, in your mental health? If you feel comfortable.
I mean, I feel comfortable, but it was hard. You know what I'm saying? It was just rough. It was hard.
How old were you when you had your first child?
I want to say like 26, I think.
Okay. Oh, my mom had me when she was 17. Well, she was pregnant with me at 16, had me at 17. That was a lot with that girl.
Yeah, but I mean, it doesn't matter how old you are. You know what I'm saying? When you were, you know, you don't have the best situation with the child's other parent.
Yeah, the parent.
You know what I'm saying? So it's like that's a whole nother, you know, situation. So you know what I'm saying? So that's a while ago, but at the time, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's just always a lot going on when you don't have a huge support system. Yeah, you know, and I have my mother, and still has been a really, you know what I'm saying? Like throughout.
I remember that day you told me about that.
Yep, for my daughter. So
that's wonderful. I love that for you. You know, because not everybody, and specifically, you know, Black women they have that. So it's a lot with that. I definitely want to talk about some of those outside factors though as well, of the ways it affects our mental health. So we was kind of talking about it earlier. You know, for us managing our household, our personal lives. You know, also dealing with stressors such as like microaggressions. In the work field, you could be at the store. No, because like this is like, it's so true. Like I've seen it. Like I could be at a store and it's not even always like about the cashier specific race. They just assume, you know, like I know what it's like to where it was just like I could just be regularly talking. Let me say this. A lot of Black women had this experience of like, specifically if we talking about the workforce, let's just say you finally say something to your manager. You finally just have the courage to be like, you know what? Let me actually just have a conversation about something that wasn't okay with me, that was unprofessional, that type of thing. The moment you are speaking out or just simply trying to speak up for yourself, I've been called aggressive. I've been called, you know, a lot of different things. Calm down. Why are you so mad? There we go. That's the one. I'm like, what's the word I'm looking for? Like that song that Solange made called Bad featuring Lil Wayne. He a Libra too. Like, yeah, like I feel like it's certain things that I feel like as a Black woman, I already have to be, how do I explain this? Be prepared for it, but also expecting the unexpected. Do that make any sense? Like, literally, like, I don't even know how to explain it. Like, it's like, it's a sad situation, depending on what we're talking about. But it's also like, it's just a lot to deal with. Because, like I said, in a workspace, I know it was moments where the moment I just spoke up for myself, I was called like, you know, aggressive and to calm down, all these other things. It's just like, I'm calm. I'll speak to you like this. But then I started realizing like, oh, like you have your own perceived notion of like, literally based off like who I am, just my existence of a Black woman, like, oh yeah, she already. And it's like, you don't even know my story. I think that's the part that even as I was a little girl, I was very aware of. Like I was very aware of whether it was the school system, you know, growing up, I had an IEP. And this is something I talked about previously before, you know, I had an IEP. So, you know, it was one of those situations where like my friends and stuff, just so happened all my friends didn't have IEPs. Like I have friends in my own IEP classes, but my close friends, they did not have IEP. So they didn't really understand certain things, you know, me having dyslexia and just different intellectual challenges and stuff like that. So, you know, I remember even like growing up, I had issues with my IEP teachers who didn't look like me. And it was moments where like, cause growing up, I went to an all white school. At the time, I really didn't like it, even though I was little, like before I even knew about race and stuff like that. Me and my sister, we used to tell her, I'm like, why are you taking us to this school with people who don't look like us? Like we was still aware of race and all those different factors. So it was just like, for me, my IEP teachers was all either white women or Asian or just somebody outside of my race. And I remember one of my IEP teachers, she was like my first grade or second grade. I was young as hell, y'all. But I just remember she would do certain things and say certain things of like belittling me, making me feel really small. Also treat me like pretty much like a stereotype, as if like anytime I was just being a child, basically is what I'm saying. I was told to be in a corner, just all types of crazy shit. And then one day I finally opened up about it with my mom and talked to her about it. So I ended up realizing early on, like even with my own mental challenges or intellectual abilities or things that I struggle with, it was my race was going to play a role. My gender and my race, as far as being a woman and also Black. So I ended up realizing like, damn, like I can't even get the help that I need. I ain't got no empathy. I didn't feel like I had enough
so whatever empathy happened like with that situation?
Oh, girl, we can get that's a whole. Well, I will never forget that. Like, with the IEP teacher,
like fast forward to the end, like what happened? Did you end up getting
switching?
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
But we had a meeting actually. And I told my mom about it. We had a meeting because basically we used to do this thing where we would have to have IEP meetings to see like keep track of everything. And I told her, I'm like, no, Miss Karen, you treat me like this. I'm gonna call her Karen because she act like Karen.
And you were in the second grade?
I was in the second grade.
You remember that?
I remember all that.
Wow.
Yes, yeah. It's certain things. I remember my first grade teacher, Miss Bird. She doesn't remember everything, by the way. That's one thing I always stress too. But yeah, like I remember my first grade teacher, Miss Bird. She taught me how to, because I used to have a speech impediment, so she was like my speech teacher. Anyways, back to the point though with Ivy, like I basically tell her like, when my mom was there, because at first she was lying. I'm 6 years old. I'm like, girl, as soon as my mom be dropping me off, you be treating me like I'm a like an alien or something. So when I told her about it and I was speaking up for myself, she was all, like, oh, I'm sorry, and da. But then my mom basically went off on her, y'all. I ain't gonna lie, my mom cussed her ass out. She let her have it, and then I ended up getting a new IEP teacher.
Okay.
Yeah, and the rest was history. But I still experience microaggressions. Girl, yeah. That's a whole nother I mean, we can get into it though. I mean, for you, did you ever experience certain things as far as microaggressions, or Yeah, in the household or in the school, like, what was your experiences with that, and did that affect like your mental health or the way you perceived yourself? I guess I should say.
No, not really. I mean,
that's what's up, girl. I love that for you.
Saying, like,
that's good.
I really like. I don't know. Like, I don't know if you know, like Libras have like this like aloof thing.
Aloof?
You know what I'm saying? Yeah.
Elaborate.
Or like
aloof.
We just kind of like, you know what I'm saying? Like whatever. Like, okay. You know what I'm saying? Airy. You know what I'm saying? Air. It's an air sign.
Yeah, just going with
like
the wind. That's so
I
true.
Don't even be like whatever. You know what I'm saying? It be certain little times. Yeah, I'm an empath and I can feel people's energy and like, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. I can feel certain things, but like, girl, I don't be caring with nobody. I mean, have it been microaggression, like, you know, unfair treatment, you know, to me throughout my life? Yes. I mean, just being like somebody that people perceive as like a beautiful person or a pretty person or just with a nice personality, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I agree with that.
Or just a happy person in general. Like, people gonna pick on you. Yeah, I've been picked on, bullied, treated, left out, all kind of stuff.
Yeah.
But
it never like affected like your mental health.
Nope.
That's great.
Because my mama always taught me growing up, like, you know what I'm saying? And everybody not your friend, you know. And she kept it real with me, like, you know what I'm saying? People fake. People not gonna like you, you know. People gonna be jealous, you know what I'm saying? People not gonna be as nice as you are, you know. People not gonna be how you are or where you come from. You know, I'm so get used to that now.
No, my mom used to tell me that too.
Tell me that in first grade. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like.
That's so true. Plus, I was also seeing my mom live it.
Yeah.
Okay. Even outside of my own experiences, I was seeing my mom I'm like, you know what? This is what I'm gonna not do. This is what I'm gonna do. So I learned what to do and what not to do as well. Even my mom didn't always say it to me.
Yeah.
And I was always like a very observant, I feel like, child overall. I'm still like that. But like when I was a little girl, I used to peep everything.
Yeah.
I used to peep what this person, that person, everybody said, and would nobody even know, because I'd just be chilling, because I'd be talking about
right.
when it was my time to talk, you know, I'm gonna talk. That's what I think about it. I'm going to talk. I'm gonna do my thing. But yeah, I just always would peep certain shit, stuff like that. I also just want to say too, like, you know, I feel like a lot of people just don't take the time out to study and learn and hear from other Black women as far as like their mental health issues and their experiences. And that can end up, you know, translating them being dismissive. And also just, again, what I was saying earlier, labeling us as far as like attitude problems.
Yeah.
I think that struck a nerve in me when I was looking that up, because I'm like, girl, you know how many people, especially in my family and stuff, oh, you gotta add, that was just always the same. Well, anything I do is just, or any disagreement, oh, you got an attitude problem. And just like, actually, I'm having mental health issues.
Yeah.
And you niggas just don't get it. Like, that just, that's what I used to want to say, but you know, I was little then, but that was really what the tea was. So that really made me like affirm myself in my experience that I wasn't crazy and I wasn't the only one going through certain things, and everything was going to be okay. So
yeah,
that made me feel better too.
Yeah.
When I, you know, was, like I said, looking back on the studies and stuff like that. What are your thoughts on that?
On what?
No, we just said a mouthful. Well, I know you said earlier that you haven't experienced like mental health issues as far as like microaggressions and stuff like that, which is really good. So for you coming up, like, do you still do that now? Like the things that, like, in ways that it didn't affect you? Like, are you saying your mom is
like, I reverted? So like,
you reverted?
You know what I'm saying? Yo,
wait a minute.
I was gonna say, like, when I was a lot younger, you know what I'm saying, none of that stuff bothered me, but like,
oh, okay, I get what you're saying now.
I want to say within like the last like 5 years, you know what I'm saying? Like, you just really can feel people's negative energy, you know what I'm saying, and rudeness and everywhere, you know so what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But so I just have to, you know, during the healing process, you have to really train yourself to not be bothered with people, you know what I'm saying? Be bothered by their energy and be, you know, bothered with, you know, the words they say or how they act, you know, for real. Like,
yeah, I agree with that. And I feel like for me, my mind's so complex, you know, I gotta say the pros and cons. I agree and disagree only because I still tell myself that in certain situations, but it'd be like other situations too where I don't when I don't just see certain, I think when I tell myself that, I also don't see certain people's behaviors, is what I'm trying to say, for what it is. So then I kind of do this thing where I'll be like, well, it's not affecting me, that's them. But it just be like, okay, well, what ways, like, is it affecting you or is it not affecting you? Like, are you in tune with your feelings or are you not? Again, these are things that I'm realizing through therapy. Do you know what I'm trying to say? Yeah. So like, even certain things that you're saying, these are things I open up about with even my therapist, who is a professional in that, you know, way of like helping me with my mental health. Is like certain things I feel like I realize I used to be dismissive. Definitely be like, oh, well, I'm gonna let them have, I ain't gonna let them. But it'd be like, too, a lot of that led to me not being in tune with myself, or really just what I was saying earlier, like really emotionally unavailable with myself. Like, girl, that's a lot, girl, that's crazy. Like, I learned so much stuff.
Yeah.
I feel like, you know, I definitely, you know, lastly want to talk about some solutions for us as Black women, as well as any advice that you have for other Black women who might be, you know, dealing with mental health.
Yeah.
Got a whole list. Got a list, y'all. Y'all don't know what it look like over here.
I kind of feel like, you know, we were kind of going over that in the beginning. Like, you know, for me personally, like, I watch a lot of like self-motivating like videos.
Me too.
I'm trying to get into yoga. I'll be so busy, but I'm trying to really get into like hot yoga and just that's like I just think self-care is such a broad topic, because, you know, a lot of different things fall under that category.
That's true.
Meditation,
period.
Eating healthy, drinking enough water, you know what I'm saying? Having boundaries, going into like not paying those, like cut people off, like get people, you know what I'm saying, like out of your everyday life that are causing you, you know what I'm saying, stress and anxiety.
Yes,
for real, like,
exactly.
You know what I'm saying, like do things that make you happy, you know what I'm saying, like be organized, you know what I'm saying. Try to, because I'm still working on that, you know what I'm saying. And it's just so hard to just, you know, think clearly like when you're unorganized, you know what I mean?
And just trying to be at a balance.
Yep, it's hard.
It is.
It really is. And I got a kid, so
right.
You know.
And that plays a huge factor into all those things and factoring into your mental health. I appreciate you for sharing that too.
No problem.
So some, you know, advice and solutions I wrote down was for Black women mental health is like, if you are into therapy, because it's not for everybody, but if you are into therapy, find a therapist that is looking, you know, oh dang, I said that wrong, my bad. Look for a therapist who makes sure you are the main character of your story. Okay, I cannot stress that enough. You know, I've been in therapy since I was like, in high school. It really started in my senior year. But what's so funny is I only met her one time. That's a whole nother story. But ever since that day, I was like, I like this. I need to talk to somebody outside of for me anyways, outside of my friends and people who are just familiar with me or who think they know me like that or know me like that. It was great. She, you know, she was great. Also, like, someone who does not single you out. Definitely somebody who affirms you, make you feel seen and heard. Some factors that you will know is like, I had a situation kind of where like, you ever told somebody a story and you know I don't want to say you was a victim, but you know you was in the wrong. There we go. But it was like, nah, like you was in the wrong. That other person was right. And you know, logically, like that don't make any sense. I had an experience like that with a therapist. I'm like, no, this person was abusive and I didn't deserve that. So again, it's very important, I feel like, to be aware of that as well. Definitely a therapist who holds you accountable at the same time, yet also is professional, you know, in a professional way. Get a therapist who is graceful with you. Who give you grace, who really listens, you know, who don't stay on only one topic. I want to stress that because, again, I'm going off my past experiences. I could be talking about a trauma, and I get it. Certain traumas is important, like it's heavier than others, so we got to unpack it. But I'll be like, okay, can we talk about this now? Like, can we talk about that now? So, yeah, make sure you have a therapist who help you with that. Also, who helps you unlearn, you know, some things about yourself and your story that is no longer serving you. That is really important. Someone who can also just identify those key symptoms as we stated earlier, with like the mental health and underlying issues that you may be having. Meditation, you already spoke on it. I also like Tai Chi. You know what Tai Chi is?
I do. But
intentional movement. Get into it, y'all.
I've never done it, and I want to. That sounds really
I'm gonna
cool.
send you some links.
Okay.
I like to call it, for people who don't know, it is intentional body movement. Okay. So that's what I would define it as. I'm big on walks. Walks is really good for your mental health. See, I used to hear like, girl, that's simple. No, take your ass to a nice park and walk. Clear your head. You know, if you got a lot of stuff on your mind, that works. Music. I love music. Mm-hmm. It's very therapeutic for me and my mental health. Yeah. Okay. Explore. You know, be open minded too. Don't just listen to the R&B. You know, listen to some other stuff too that you probably ain't never, you know, heard of and stuff. Yeah. Look into some good herbs, herbal tea. Mm-hmm. You were speaking on that earlier. You got any more suggestions before we wrap this up?
No.
Well, I had turmeric. I had burdock root. And the brand Yogi tea. You heard about Yogi?
I have. I drink. Yes. I be sitting here all day, girl, going over all my teas. But like, yeah.
Well, all right. Well,
look them up. Look up the benefits. Look up herbal teas.
Yes. Look up the benefits.
Look up the benefits of everything, and you know, buy them.
Right. Well, drink them. I think you said buy them, drink. I'm not gonna play with you. Make sure it helps you.
Yes, for sure. That's why you gotta do your research.
Exactly. Well, this officially wraps up the end of today's episode on Black women and mental health. I definitely want to take the time out and say thank you so much for joining me.
You're welcome, girl.
So much to be like, you are welcome back, like my good Libra sis, like period. Before we close out though, you know, what is a good way for the listeners to stay, you know, in contact with you and what it is exactly that you do in your business endeavors?
Yeah, so I'll be having a lot of different business endeavors, but right now I am a singer and a /songwriter, and I love to perform. I'm available to perform at different events. You can find me on Instagram.
Yes.
Aliesa Nicole, ALIESA space NICOLE. It's the same on TikTok and on Facebook.
All right, so. Period. Love to hear.
And thank you for having me.
You are so welcome. Yeah. And all right, you guys can also follow me on Instagram at Desaworld DESAWORLD _, and also Facebook at Jada Weber, JADA, last name Weber, WEBBER. Purple Phases is available on all streaming platforms and will be posted every other Sunday at 2:00 p.m. Purple Phases will also be having its own social media page coming soon.
Wow.
Yes. That's and awesome. I will be back to talk to you guys until next time. Bye.
Bye.